Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Pray First, a conversation we have Monday through Friday right here on the Pastor Doug page. It is so good to be coming to you today from the backyard at Crosspoint Church. The backyard is a place where we have playgrounds, we have an amphitheater, we have concession stand, we have swings, it's just a fire pit. Sand volleyball court, some games for the kids, some games for adults. It's just a really cool place. Horseshoes. It's cool to have weather that I can just get out here and not be stuck in there. And if you're thinking, well, how can you do this? Well, 5G, that's one reason I can do that. Another reason I can do that is because all of my recording devices, they're mobile. They're mobile. Check that out. Isn't that cool? So I'll still be recording the Bible today right here from the backyard. Hashtag live, hashtag record, hashtag shared. Get out on your page. Hit the hearts, hit the likes, and go crazy on those. Let all of our first-time guests know that we are so glad that they are here. Hi, Kelly. Good morning, Courtney. Good morning, Neil. Good morning, Tasha. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Corrine. Hashtag live, hashtag record, hashtag shared. Good morning, Raymond Duffy. It's so good to see you. Hi, Michelle. Today, Paul is going to he's going to wax bold on us. Not that Paul isn't already bold. But some of the things today, I even posted out on my social media posts that you might want to skip today. I was kind of kidding, but I kind of wasn't. These are the kind of paragraphs and verses and chapters that a lot of people read, but very few people follow. So, I don't know about that hearer the word, doer the word thing. So here we go, reading the whole Bible. We've read Matthew, check. We've read Mark, check. We've read Luke, check. We've read John, check. We've read Acts, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans. We're in 1 Corinthians. We've also read Proverbs. We're reading the whole Bible. Pretty cool, eh? So I'm just going to jump in because Paul's got a lot to say, which means I got a lot to read in the Message Bible. We're reading the Message Bible for clarity's sake because I believe that if you have a Bible that you understand, you'll have a Bible that you'll read, and if you don't, you won't. And I think it's more beneficial that you have a Bible that you read and that you understand than one that you don't read because you don't understand. I mean, that's some pretty deep philosophical things right there. Here we go. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1. Oh, yeah. I got to turn this record on. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Check. Check. We're recording. Patman, Cooper, Jarvis, I am coming to you live from the backyard as I read the Bible to you guys. And I just want to encourage you to press into the hard truths of the Word. I want to encourage you to choose the hard right over the easy wrong. I want to encourage you to be leaders. You don't have to be personality leader types to lead. Just lead the people around you with the abilities that God and the personality and the giftings that God's given you guys. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1. Oh yeah, I've got to set my 15-minute timer. I'm so excited about being outside. I'm just throwing caution to the wind and not even setting a timer. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1. Don't imagine us leaders to be something that we aren't. We are servants of Christ, not his masters. We are guides into God's divine secrets, not security guards posted to protect them. The requirements for a good guide are reliability and accurate knowledge. It matters very little to me what you think of me, even less where I rank in popular opinion. I don't even rank myself. Comparisons in these matters are pointless. I'm not aware of anything that would disqualify me from being a good guide for you, but that doesn't mean much. The master makes the judgment anyway. So don't get ahead of the master and jump to conclusions with your judgments before all the evidence is in. When he comes, he will bring out into the open and place in evidence all kinds of things we never even dreamed of. Inner motives, purposes, and prayers. Only then will any one of us get to hear, "Well done," of God. All I'm doing right now, friends, is showing you how these things pertain to Apollos and me, so that you will learn restraint and not rush into making judgments without knowing all the facts. It's important to look at things from God's point of view. I would rather not see you inflating or deflating reputations based on mere heresy or hearsay. For who do you know that really knows you, knows your heart? And even if they did, is there anything they would discover in you that you could take credit for? Isn't everything you have and everything you are sheer gifts from God? So what's the point? What's the point of all this comparing and competing? You already have all you need. You already have more access to God than you can handle. Without bringing either Apollos or me into it, you're sitting on top of the world, at least God's world, and we're right there, sitting alongside of you. It seems to me that God has put us who bear His message on stage in a theater in which no one wants to buy a ticket. We're something everyone stands around and stares at, like an accident in the street. We're the Messiah's misfits. You might be sure of yourselves, but we live in the midst of frailties and uncertainties. You might be well thought of by others, but we're mostly kicked around. Much of the time we don't have enough to eat. We wear patched and threadbare clothes. We get doors slammed in our faces, and we pick up odd jobs anywhere we can to eke out a living. When they call us names, we say, God bless you. When they spread rumors about us, we put in a good word for them. We're treated like garbage, the leftovers that nobody wants, and it's not getting any better. I'm not writing all this as a neighborhood scold to shame you. I'm writing as a father to you, my children. I love you, and I want you to grow up well, not spoiled. I want you to grow up well, not spoiled. There are a lot of people around who can't wait to tell you what you've done wrong, but there aren't many fathers willing to take the time and effort to help you grow. It was Jesus. It was as Jesus helped me proclaim God's message to you that I became your father. I'm not, asking you to do anything I'm not already doing myself. This is why I sent Timothy to you earlier. He is also my dear son and true to the master. He will refresh your memory on the instructions I regularly give all the churches on the way of Christ. I know there are some among you who are so full of themselves they never listen to anyone, let alone me. They don't think I'll ever show up in person, but I'll be there sooner than you think. God willing, and then we'll see if they're full of anything but hot air. God's way is not a matter of mere talk. It's an empowered life. So how should I prepare to come to you? As a severe disciplinarian who makes you walk the line, or as a good friend and counselor who wants to share heart to heart with you? You'll decide. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1. I also received a report of scandalous sex within your church family, a kind that wouldn't be tolerated even outside of the church. One of your men is sleeping with his stepmother, and you're so above it all? That doesn't even faze you. Shouldn't this break your hearts? Shouldn't it bring you to your knees in tears? Shouldn't this person and his conduct be confronted and dealt with? I'll tell you what I would do. Even though I'm not there in person, consider me right there with you, because I can fully see the wrongs going on. I'm telling you that this is wrong. You must not simply look the other way and hope it goes away on its own. Bring it out in the open and deal with it. The authority of Jesus, the Master. Assemble the community. I'll be present in spirit with you, and our Master Jesus will be present in power. Hold this man's conduct up to public scrutiny. Let him defend it if he can. But if he can't, then out with him. It will be totally devastating to him, of course, and an embarrassment to you, but better devastation and embarrassment than damnation. You want him on his feet and forgiven before the Master on the day of judgment. Your flip and callous arrogance in these matters bothers me. You pass it off as a small thing, but it's anything but that. Yeast too is a small thing, but it works its way through the whole batch of bread dough pretty fast, so get rid of this kind of yeast. Our true identity is flat and plain, not puffed up with the wrong kinds of ingredients. The Messiah, our Passover lamb, has already been sacrificed for the Passover meal, and we are unraised bread, part of the feast. So let's live out our part in the feast as not raised bread swollen with yeast of evil, but as flat bread, simple, genuine, and unpretentious. I wrote to you in my earlier letter that you shouldn't make yourselves at home among the sexual promiscuous. I didn't mean that you should have nothing at all to do with the outsiders or with criminals, whether blue or white collar, or with spiritual phonies, for that matter. You'd have to leave the world entirely to do that. But I am saying to you that you shouldn't act as if everything is just fine when a friend who claims to be a Christian is promiscuous or crooked, is flip with God or rude to friends, gets drunk or becomes greedy and predatory. You can't just go along with this, treating that as acceptable behavior. It is not responsible. I am not responsible for what the outsiders do, but don't we have some responsibility for those within our community of believers? God decides on the outsiders, but we need to decide when brothers and sisters are out of line, and if necessary, clean house. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 1. How dare you take each other to court when you think you have been wronged? Does it make any sense to go to a court that knows nothing of God's ways instead of a family of Christians? The day is coming when the world is going to stand before a jury made up of the followers of Christ. If someday you are going to rule on the world's fate, wouldn't it be a good idea to practice on some of these smaller cases? Why, we're even going to judge the angels. So why not these everyday affairs? As these disagreements and wrongs surface, why would you ever entrust them to the judge of people who don't trust in God, or judgment of people you don't trust in any other way? I say this as bluntly as I can to wake you up to the stupidity of what you're doing. It is possible that there isn't one level-headed person among you who can make fair decisions when disagreements and disputes come up. But I don't believe that. And here you are taking each other to court before people who don't even believe in God. And here you are taking people to court before people who don't even believe in God. How can they render justice if they don't believe in the God of justice? These court cases are a black eye on your community. Wouldn't it be far better to just take it, to let yourself be wronged and forget it? All you're doing is providing fuel for more wrong, more injustice, bringing more hurt to the people of your own spiritual family. Don't you realize that this is not the way to live? Unjust people who don't care about God will not be joining in His kingdom. Those who use and abuse each other, use and abuse sex, use and abuse the earth and everything in it, don't qualify as citizens of the kingdom of God. A number of you know from experience what I'm talking about. For not so long ago, you were on that list. Since then, you've been cleaned up and given a fresh start by Jesus, our Master, our Messiah, and by God presented in us, the Holy Spirit. Just because something is technically legal doesn't mean that it's spiritually appropriate. Just because something is technically legal does not mean it's spiritually appropriate. One more time for those in the back. Just because something is technically legal, it's not sin, I have a right, you can't judge me. Crap. Hashtag crap. Just because something is technically legal does not mean that it is spiritually appropriate. If I went around doing whatever I thought I could get by with, I would be a slave to my whims. You know the old saying, first you eat to live and then you live to eat? Well, it may be true that the body is the only temporary thing, but that's no excuse for stuffing your body with food or indulging it with sex. Since the Master honors you with the body, honor him with your body. God honored the Master's body by raising it from the grave. He'll treat yours with the same resurrection power. One more time for those in the back. God honored the Master's body by raising it from the grave. He'll treat yours with the same resurrection power. Until that time, remember that your bodies are created with the same dignity as Jesus' body. You wouldn't take Jesus' body off to a whorehouse, would you? I should hope not. There's more to sex than mere skin on skin. Sex is as much spiritual mystery as physical fact. Boys, I cannot emphasize this one enough. And it's a shame why I know. There's more to sex than mere skin on skin. Sex is as much spiritual mystery as physical fact. As written in Scripture, the two become one. Since we want to become spiritually one with the Master, we must not pursue the kind of sex that avoids commitment, the kind of sex that avoids intimacy, leaving us more lonely than ever, the kind of sex that can never become one, the kind of sex that can never become one, the kind of sex that can never become one. There's a sense in which sexual sins are different from all of the others. In sexual sin, we violate the sacredness of our own bodies, these bodies that were made for God-given and God-molded love, for becoming one with another. Or didn't you realize that your body is a sacred place? The place of the Holy Spirit? Don't you see that you can't live however you please, squandering what God paid such a high price for? The physical part of you is not some piece of property belonging to the spiritual part of you. God owns the whole work. So let people see in and through your body. Boys, there's so much there I want you to see. Matter of fact, I'd like for you guys to go back and read 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 4, 5, 6, 7. Read it in the New American Standard Version. Read it in the New King James Version. Read it in the New Living Translation. Read it again in the Message. But he's talking about physical bodies. It's extremely important that you see it. God created a man and a woman's physical bodies to fit, to connect, to become one. He goes on to say it's not just your spirits that connect, it's not just your soul, but Paul is pretty emphatic that it's your bodies. The two become one, not spirit, not soul, they become one flesh. I also want you to see something very clearly. Paul tells us crystal clearly, and it's not my views that I am pressing down on society. It's not my thoughts, it's not my ways, it's not the way I see the world that I'm pushing down onto the church or that I'm pushing down on culture. These are God's ways. And he's clearly telling us as a church that we shouldn't be judging the outsider. We shouldn't be judging how someone is living who hasn't agreed to live the standard of God. It's their life. This is where they choose, and this is where we, the church and men and women, we don't judge how an outsider lives. That's their way. It's their culture. It's the way they see the world. It's their worldview. But Paul is also crystal clear that if you call yourself one of our brothers, if you call yourself one of our sisters, if you yourself has claim that you are taking on the standard of God, that it is you, but we judge each other. We judge each other based on the Word. So we judge each other, we don't judge the world. And we don't judge each other based on our standard, which means I don't see this as truth in God's Word and this is not. It just is. So boys, remember a couple of things. Sex is powerful, and holy smoke, woo! It is so alluring. It is so innate in your nature. You are hardwired for it, and you're going to want it, and you're going to be attracted to it, and you're going to think it's nothing until it's too hard and too late. So I just want to encourage you in that. Make wise decisions before you start, and if you ever find yourself beyond starting and you're already past that phase and you're listening to me and everything's already gone to hell in that area, know that your dad's not disappointed. I'm not disappointed. And I love you, and God's not disappointed, and He's not mad. And good Lord, I'm not mad. I wish that I could say that, your mama was the first that I'd ever been with. But I fell in love with somebody a long time before that. And I made a terrible, a childish decision that hurt me for a long, long time because I loved her, and it was terrible. So Father, I pray for every person listening and every person watching that you would redeem my boys, and that you would redeem the people watching and listening, that we wouldn't carry around guilt, shame, and condemnation. That's not your plan. That there's no plan B for us. When you designed plan A for us, you designed our plan A with full knowledge of who we'd be, what we would do, the mistakes we would make, the decisions we'd make, the actions that we would make. You didn't have a plan B waiting just in case we let you down. You just have a plan A. You already had all the knowledge, you already had all the information, you already knew. Man, Holy Spirit, don't let these people be tied down and restrained by their past and their mistakes and their sins. Let's love one another. We didn't qualify ourselves. Paul said, it doesn't really matter what everybody thinks. It doesn't even matter what I think. I didn't qualify myself. The people didn't qualify me. God chose me. God chose you. In Jesus' name. And all God's people said, amen. And hey, boys, since I met your mother, I have never cheated on your mom. I have never, just so you're thinking, oh gosh, what's Dad talking about? Everything was before your mom that I did stupid in that area. Not that I haven't found new areas to be stupid in, but since I've met your mom, it's just been me and your mom. And that kind of sexual relationship, though I know you don't want to hear me talking about your mom like that, but it's way better than the lonely that I remember from the other. I'm going to go now. I think, boys, I've given you maybe more than you wanted to hear. But I want you to know everything. Bye.